Hello and welcome to Trolls of the Two Tonne Bridges, or TOTTB. My name is John and I will be your Percival Silverlight today. Thank you for joining us at the table once again. We do appreciate each and every one of you. Apologies for the erratic nature of our releases recently. Life definitely is getting in the way. Everything's okay, and hopefully we'll be getting some more content out on a regular basis. Thank you for your patience. Remember, you can say hi to us on any social media platform you care to think of. Probably not Bebo, because I don't even really know what that is. You can find us on TOTTB, that's TOTTTB podcast. Now let's slip back into those comfortable loafers of adventure. The Log of Percival Silverlight. We are on the hunt for a cheater, a lying and downright dirty scoundrel who is attempting to hoodwink the upcoming dino races. Eliza, rider of Bone Cruncher and employee of merchant Prince Irfan, is suspected of cheating by Akene. We have split up to cover more ground. Taban and I have gone in search of an audience with more merchant princes, and we now find ourselves in hot water with Kweothe, quite literally. Our meeting at the baths seems to be getting interesting. Zibi, Raana and Silaqui, however, have started to explore the Dino Dens of Tiraki Anchorage, no doubt to interrogate Eliza and discover some hidden plot. Adventure.
We will jump now back to the Giggling Squid, to Silaqui, Zibi, and Raana. What are you guys going to be doing? Are you guys going to wait at the Giggling Squid until later, or is there anything you guys want to go out and do just now?
I say to Raana, Raana, it doesn't have to be a giant dino steak, does it? Just a tiny wee sample.
It needs to be the exact food that's just about to be fed to Bone Cruncher, though, just before it's handed to him, because it may be that they put something in it just as it gets to him.
So on that particular idea, I will point out that you are nearing sort of midday at the moment, heading into the afternoon.
It's not till the evening it's been...
It won't be till the evening that they are fed. But if you want to go back down to the Dino Dens to perhaps meet with Eliza after she finishes training, that might be the time to start heading down there, if that's what you want to do.
What, now or later?
I don't see any particular reason why we can't meet up with her after when her training's finished. And then we can always just hang around there until it gets dark before Bone Cruncher eats his dinner and then goes to bed. So I think it would make sense to head there now.
Yeah.
Sorry, you want to head there now, even though it's midday?
But her training finished in the morning, and we can see if we can speak to her, and then whether that works or doesn't, we can hang around to the evening when we're there. That seems the most efficient way to do it.
Yeah, why not?
If we're hanging around all day and evening, would they not get a bit? Why are you still here? Come on, we've got stuff to do. Why are you still watching?
Well, I mean, it's midday now. What time? When does it get dark in Cholt?
It'll get dark in Cholt in about 6 hours, I think. So you've got a fair old amount of time until the actual evening. You don't know exactly when in the evening the dinosaurs will be fed.
No, we don't. I was thinking perhaps if it was earlier, then there was in theory in time for me to rest and essentially do a long rest to change my spells before the evening. But I don't think there is, because it's 8 hours minimum. So in order to do that, it would be past the point where potentially.
For today, bearing in mind again that you have until the Unchained event is the last event tomorrow,
and Percival is going to get followed to introduce him to Ifan later, possibly.
Yes, no, that's true. The most important thing I think is if the food is poisoned, is that we get hold of the food.
Or the poo.
So I don't know. Perhaps there might be.
It's incredible. It's incredible. It's incredible seeing what you guys end up focusing on.
If you can't get the things I tell you about, that's the thing you focus on. You might not be able to get in there for some reason, and then you've got nothing. Whereas you definitely can get Bone Cruncher's poo, and it will still have it in there.
What's that monk in there doing? Picking up shit.
So I think we should just head back. Have the conversation, and then Raana says, I can always hide somewhere until it is time to feed the dinosaurs. She says, I do not think that will be a problem.
Okay, fair enough. So, who's going to head down to the Dino Dens then?
Well, Silaqui probably don't want to just sit and hang out on her own necessarily. She will ask the Giggling Squid. I'm guessing they haven't eaten yet. She's going to ask for if they can give her some kind of packed lunch type thing to take with her, because she knows Raana will be hungry later and be complaining out, if he's been somewhere for more than an hour without food. So she's asked for some
takeout. Sure. There's a packed lunch available from the Giggling Squid.
And she'll go with them, and she'll just, I don't know, do some drawing or something.
Okay. So you head on down to the Dino Dens, and you head back down through Turkey Anchorage, and you eventually get back to the paddock where you saw the training. Eliza, you find as you get there, is just still in training. She seems to be going through a couple more routines, but doesn't seem quite as focused. You can see now as they're doing these runs, it's a more deliberate, rather than doing it at a fast pace, it's much more sort of deliberately pacing round. Seems like Eliza is talking to Bone Cruncher, and the Bone Cruncher is... Raana, especially you notice he looks a lot more active, a lot more sort of looking around, a lot more sort of growly. And the palanquin and the entourage for Ifan has left. However, the two trainers, Patience and Ortagu, are still there. Just
in terms of what Raana sees, I'm assuming there's like a dino stable block.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, part of the Dino Dens is a sort of stabling area, which is a sort of much larger, looks quite sturdy and reinforced, like log cabin kind of thing, which seems to be where some of the more aggressive dinosaurs seem to be being kept, from what you can hear.
Can Silaqui see through any of that? Is there any little window bits or holes?
Not really.
Okay.
No, that looks like it's been built purposely to make sure that the animals can't break out in some way. So no holes have been left in the sides. The roof doesn't necessarily look like it completely covers the whole area, perhaps as an effort to make sure that they have some sort of sunlight coming down, but there is this sort of reinforced building.
What animals are out at the moment? Are there any dinosaurs still out that Silaqui can go and sit and start sketching or anything?
So around the Dino Dens, there are the sort of pasture fields that have got things like Triceratopses, Ankylosauruses. There's even a couple of Hadrosaur. Hadrosaur, I think that's a quadruped herbivore, isn't it?
I mean, you could have literally said any dinosaur name, and I would have just nodded along.
Hadrosaur. Yeah, Hadrosaur walks on two legs. It's the one with the big thumb spikes.
Oh yeah,
and the big crest that goes at the back.
Yeah.
There we go.
Isn't that its nose, basically, so it can stick its head underwater?
I think so. Yeah.
So it's like its own snorkel. Yeah. So Silaqui's going to go to the nearest pen with the dinosaurs that are closest to the two trainer people, so she can still keep an eye on Raana and the trainers just in case they get into any kind of cross wires with the talk.
Okay.
But she's also just kind of going to be looking like she's slightly minding her own business and just sketching.
Okay, so you're sat off to one side painting.
No, sketching. Different.
Sketching. Yep.
Charcoal.
Yep. Different. Zibby, what are you up to?
Well, Zibby was considering the fact of how we can actually get some of the meat as it's being fed to the dinosaur. So, what he would have liked to have said before Silaqui went off to try and sketch some of the dinosaurs in the dinosaur pens, when he sees Otaku and Patience turn up to feed the dinosaur, I wander over and just say, "I'm sorry about earlier. I was not having a good day," that sort of thing. And try and subtly sort of scuff some meat that falls down off to one side and just sort of step on it and hide it.
That's fair enough. So right now, they don't appear to be doing anything like that. So sorry, are you going to stick with Silaqui for the time being, or are you going to go over to see what's happening with Eliza and trainers at the minute?
No, I'm going to stick with Silaqui.
Stick with Silaqui. Okay.
As Zibi turns to follow Silaqui, Raana says, "I could get in there," and just points at the Dino stable.
The Dino stable. Let's call it that. Yeah.
Dino stable. At the Dino hut. And he says, Raana says, "I could get in there easily enough. Perhaps there might be something to see, something that indicates what may or may not be happening."
Be very careful if you do, though, Raana. I don't want you getting hurt. You don't know what kind of dinosaurs are in there or their temperament. You don't want to get yourself in trouble or hurt with that, especially if we're not in there to help as well. You'll be on your own.
I don't want to get eaten.
Raana sort of smiles slightly and says, "It's hard to get eaten when one is on the ceiling."
Unless there's a bigger spider on the ceiling, and then it's not so hard, is it, Raana? Yes.
Raana smiles, but he shows his teeth. And he says,
It's his usual smile, isn't it?
No, he just Raana smiles and he says, "The largest spider in that building will be me, I think." And then Raana sort of wanders off towards, I'm assuming due to Faecal, there'll be he can wander behind a corner or something where he's not directly observed, or the whole place is so filled with people that there is nowhere that could be done easily.
Roll me a stealth.
As in, can he do a Superman around a corner rather than, in the open?
Peels off his skin and there's a spider inside him.
Reading between the lines, I'm assuming you want to wild shape out of view, yeah?
Oh, Wonder Woman.
Yes.
Okay, so roll me a stealth.
Bad.
What'd you get?
Bad is the answer. 8.
8. Okay, cool. So, what are you wild shaping into, Raana?
If he's with me, can I help?
No.
Try to block
he's
him?
gone off on his own.
Okay, I was going to try and do that.
No, he went off on his own.
If a friend needs a wee or something, you stand in front of him to try and hide him.
I'm well aware, but no, he went off on his own. And so, Raana, what are you actually changing into?
I was going to change into a spider, not the 12-foot wide monstrosity that could literally wrap up an Allosaurus and eat it. Not that one.
A small
I'm thinking
house spider.
I'm
house
thinking
spider type thing.
No, like a huntsman. So the size of like a small dinner plate.
Okay,
so something that would still shit you up.
So as you go round the corner of the Dino Den, the Dino shed, you are you're looking back and forth. You don't see anyone around. You start to transform, and it's as you start to transform, someone walks around the corner, and sees you sort of halfway through transforming into a spider, and you complete it. So you go down, and this woman that's just walked around just sees it, screams, and run the other way. And Zibi and Natalia, you hear that, and you sort of look over that way, and you see this woman screaming as she runs through, and seems to be... She's just yelling gibberish. She's just like, ah! And runs off, just pelts it away through Turek anchorage. What are you guys going to do?
Silaqui just instantly looks at Zibi with one eyebrow up, as in, shit. And then she tells Zibi, because Zibi's got the magic, I don't know if he's got anything that can help the woman's mind, whatever, tells Zibi maybe to go after the woman, just so she doesn't overreact and tell anyone. And Silaqui is going to try and see what's happening with Raana. Basically, both diffuse situation. Has she left the dino thing completely?
Well, yeah, she's left the area that you're in. She's run off back into Tiriki anchorage.
Oh, okay.
And what you want to do is tell Zibi to go look for her and try and tell her not to tell anybody what she just saw, while you go try to find out what happened with Raana. Yes?
Yeah. As an aside, Raana has immediately scuttled up the wall and onto the roof of the...
I was getting to that, Toby, but yes, okay, so you're scuttling up the wall anyway, so...
Oh, yeah.
So, okay.
Yeah, I'm right up there.
You're just continuing on with your aim anyway, because...
Yeah, I'm a spider. People are scared of spiders. Big deal.
Fair enough. Zibby, Silaqui just told you to do that, and you witnessed that. Are you going to go after the woman, or are you going to go with Silaqui to see what happened?
Yeah, Zibby's going to run after Adam and go, Hey, what's the matter there? What's the matter? I heard you scream. What's the matter? And trying to look surprised and look all around him, sort of thing.
What could it be?
Give me an investigation roll, please, because she's run out of sight for the time being. You follow her the way she went to try and catch her.
She's screaming. I'm sure you'd be able to find her.
Alright, it's not a difficult check, but I'm just double checking if he doesn't lose her somewhere along the way.
Can I have it with advantage because I rolled a 9?
No,
if she's
can't. If you roll poorly, that's what you get. You go to make after her, but after a couple of turns, you lose track of exactly where she's gone. Not because she seems to have completely vanished, but because she's gone into a crowd of people that you're looking around, you're trying to go, oh, sod. And she's gone in one direction, you're not sure where exactly she's got to, I'm afraid. Silaqui, as you go round to where Raana was, you get to the corner, you look round, there's no sign of Raana.
Do I know if there's any people in the dino pen where he may have gone into? Do I know if there's people or is it just dinosaurs in there? Or can I not tell?
You can hear dinosaurs. You can't hear any humans, but you're at the back end of the stable at the minute. You could go round to the front and try and maybe see if anybody is in there. But at the moment, you don't know that anybody's there.
I'm going to try to just, wander around.
Okay. Raana, as you climb up the wall and climb into the stable, you are able to creep up onto the wall, and inside there isn't actually that much in the way of a roof. There's like a couple of beams, almost as if somebody thought about putting a roof on and then decided not to bother finishing it. And you have a look inside and you can see that there are a number of carnivores in different pens that are quite securely stabled apart from each other. Specifically, this seems to be for the case of making sure that these carnivores don't start eating each other. You can see as you're sort of looking down that they have these large gates in front of each of them, and you can see things like you see Big Honker, the young Tyrannosaurus. You see a couple of other Deinonychus.
Dionysus, not Deinonychus.
It's not Dionysus. No, Dionysus. Dionysus was a Greek god.
Yes. Deinonychus.
Was that the
Deinonychus
Greek god of getting drunk?
And a couple of Dimetrodons. But essentially, these creatures are all in their own individual paddocks. There does appear to be one that is empty, which you would guess is bone crunchers, but there doesn't appear to be any handlers in at the moment.
Okay, Raana will scuttle along the wall as high up in the corner as he can, out of reach of any of the dinosaurs, and he will scuttle over to Big Honker's pen.
Okay.
Not Big Honker, and not...
Bone Cruncher.
Big Bone Cruncher, that's it.
Mm-hmm. The empty pen. Okay.
He'll go over to the empty pen, and he will inspect it more closely, essentially. So rather than looking at the whole room, he'll go up to the pen.
Roll me an investigation, please.
The old spider investigation.
Mm-hmm.
Okie dokie. They do have like 14 eyes, so... Bad. That's the answer. Mind you, I retain my perception. I did get +6, so that's actually a 14.
Oh, okay. So what did you get? You got a 14, yes?
14, yeah, it's not terrible.
As you're looking down into Bone Cruncher's cell, you can see that yes, there is a trough that has this sort of there is a sort of feed system, which means that it looks like somebody can pour water in from just outside Bone Cruncher so that they can drink. And you can also see that there is a little hatch, it seems, in the doorway to it. That looking down on it, you think that might be possibly for sliding food under. You can see there's sort of some blood around that hatchway, so you figure that it perhaps is the way that the food is passed to the dinosaurs is pushed through that little hatch in the bottom. However, you don't notice anything particularly out of the ordinary, apart from the fact that it's empty as opposed to all the other ones that have got dinosaurs in them.
Okay.
Silaqui, at this point, Raana, you see Silaqui here at the big main entrance to it and sort of pokes her head in. Silaqui, you see the sort of little hallway of large, stout doorways, and you can hear this snarling behind each of them. You can't see the dinosaurs, but you can see all these different doorways on either side, and you can see there's little plaques that mark out which ones are which. At the same time, Zibby, you come back from having gone after the woman, and you can see that Silaqui has sort of wandered over to the main stable. I can tell you, as you're glancing around, you see Zibby over his shoulder, and he's just shaking his head as he comes back.
Silaqui puts her hand up as though to wave to Zibby. She looks for the plaque that says Big Honker. Is it Big Honker?
Okay.
No, Bone Cruncher. Sorry.
Yeah, you find Bone Cruncher. Mm-hmm. You do find Bone Crunchers.
Can she see any people?
No, the only person around at the moment is Zibby.
Okay. So when she's got to Bone Cruncher, is there any knot holes, anything in the door at all that she can see through in case she doesn't want to open the door and get flattened, or eaten?
No. Yeah, these doors, as I say, they are built to last against rather large animals. Even though these animals are young versions, they're not fully grown. You can tell that these people have an appreciation for the fact that they don't want any chance that these creatures could break out and run amok. There is no peephole.
Silaqui is going to... she doesn't know still if there's any people around in any of the pens. She assumes not, because why would they be inside a pen? It's pretty freaking dangerous. But just in case, she's going to sing some kind of shitty little ditty thing or something, like along the lines of there was a little spider who really needed food. It's a little stupid little song thing that she makes up on the spot. In case anyone hears, they'll just think she's a weirdo, where she's actually saying to Raana, they're outside the front of Bone Cruncher's thing.
Okay, while you're singing this spider song, Zibby, are you with Silaqui at the moment, or are you outside?
I think I would stay outside.
I don't know this girl.
Just as an extra sort of lookout, and then sort of.
Okay, so you're outside. Yeah. What you see is Otagu comes over, and he looks to you and just says, "What are you doing over here?"
I was actually just looking for you. I wanted to come back and see. Patience isn't around, is she? No,
she's helping Bone Cruncher. We're about to put them away. You need to get out of the way.
Okay.
We're transferring him back to his.
Oh yeah, okay. We get out of the way. There's Bone Crunchers coming into the building now. I just wanted to come and say thank you. By the way,
is Zibby speaking at a volume that Silaqui can hear?
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
You've raised your voice, so yes, we'll say that yes, you do hear that.
I change it to go, you're bringing Bone Cruncher through now? Oh, God. I'm right in the way now, aren't I? I just wanted to say thank you for earlier, for trying to come and apologise. It's much appreciated. Let me just get out of the way.
We're going to pause there, as you've just let Natalia know that Bone Cruncher is about to come through. Raana, you would also have heard Zibby, as he's using this sort of raised voice. You would have heard that wafting through as well. But we're going to quickly jump back. So back at the bathhouse, Kweothe, after dismissing Volo and sending him off, looks to you both, and she says, "So you want to do me a favour in exchange for helping with the Order of the Gauntlet? Am I right in thinking, Mr. Silverlight, that you are the leader of the Fisherman's Friends of your group?"
Leader? Well, it's... Of course I am.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
Well, we're a group of individuals.
You mentioned before that you were handy with weapons. Taban, certainly I know you are very handy with your weapons.
I'm champion.
Well, I would show you my sword right now, but I think I might be thrown out.
Indeed you might be. Although that might be a rather fun way to spend the afternoon, is getting thrown in jail.
It wouldn't be the first time for me, Kweothe.
You are good with weapons, you say?
Indeed.
She thinks for a second. There is a man in Fort Bellerond. You do not know this man. You do not need to know this man. But I need him dead.
Ooh. I see.
Will you do this deed for me? This favour to help the Order of the Gauntlet?
Well...
And how much do you pay?
Payment? Your payment is my help with the Order, your help with your quest to defeat the Death Curse. As a merchant prince, I can open many doors to you.
Ah, okay.
Taban really likes it when somebody opens a door for him. He's not very good with them.
This is true.
The problem is when it's raining outside, he just doesn't want to go out then.
Tiny little paw hands.
So, obviously, you are aware that this is indeed a big task.
Of course. But for the fisherman's friends, so handy with their weapons, an easy one.
And, may I ask, is there any particular reason that you haven't gone to, say, Jessamine with such a request?
I have my reasons, and I trust that you will not ask me to divulge them.
No, I am indeed incredibly subtle, and I am not one to ask anybody something inappropriate.
Inappropriate is how I like to live my life. What is your answer, Mr. Silverlight?
Yes.
Very well. The man's name is Shago. You will find him in Fort Bellerond. Go to Fort Bellerond, which is, if you are not aware, the headquarters of the Flaming Fist across the bay.
Right.
And ensure that this man, Shago, comes to an early end. And I must be clear here, Mr. Silverlight, of course.
Yeah.
Unsanctioned murder is illegal.
Mm-hmm.
You must act with the utmost discretion. And believe me when I say, if you attempt to bring anything against me, I will rain fire upon you.
I don't think that would be a good idea.
Of course not. Now, enjoy your afternoon. And she stands up now, fully, looks to you both quite openly, quite blandly. And again, you notice that the only water on her is that water that comes off of her. There's no perspiration at all. She turns, and a man is there with a towel. He wraps it round her. And what's weird is that one moment he wasn't there. And almost as if he steps out of the mist that pervades this whole room, he's there standing beside her, wrapping this towel around. Good day, Mr. Silverlight. Taban.
One last thing, Kweothe.
I said good day, sir.
I think she said good day.
She did. Good day, Kweothe.
She turns and walks out. The guards either side, seeing her leave, follow, and as she goes through one of the private changing room doors, they flank the doors until a few moments later they pass on through some signal from within, following the Merchant Prince. Taban, after a few moments after the departure of the Merchant Prince, decided that he would indeed take up the offer of a massage by one of the masseuses of the Bathhouse, and has sort of like left you to ponder your current situation, Percival. I'd like to know, Percival, what are you going to do with this time just now? Are you going to spend some time thinking in the bath, or are you going to do something else?
Well, he can't stand up yet.
Well,
Percival starts reciting players from the 1962 baseball championships. I don't know if they're called baseball championships. I'm English. I don't know anything about baseball.
Also, what year it is? Why it's 1962?
Well, I don't know. Classic year, maybe. It might be.
All for that publicity. All for that publicity.
Okay, so Percival is essentially alone in the bath.
He is indeed, yes.
Doesn't even have his rubber ducky. So
he does not know.
No. His rubber ducky, Jeremy.
I'm sure if you call over somebody will bring you Jeremy the rubber ducky. But
pass me my ducky.
Ducky.
My ducky. So Percival sits there for a moment, and if you were watching on a screen, like the camera just kind of, it just stays on Percival's face, and you kind of see a mix of emotions kind of going through his face.
It's the camera panning out with Percival in the centre.
yeah, and it's just on the edge of the water, so you can just sort of just see Percival sat there, and then you see him just gently slide under the water.
okay.
Nobody ever saw Percy again.
Yeah, it's gone. Yeah. Okay, new character.
So
that's how I get out of that one. Whoa.
What I'm guessing from that is so that you're going to take some time just to sort of ponder and gestate for a little while. Gestate? That's not the word. Percolate. That's the word I was looking for.
Well, I mean, hey, there's probably some gestation going on, but out of interest, Volvo, as we've decided to call him now,
boring but safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Reliable.
Gets you from A to B. Now he's waiting outside, isn't he?
He's having a massage, isn't he?
You're not sure. He's gone for a massage. You don't know when he'll be back.
He got booted out the bath, so
yeah, he did. Yeah.
He did get booted out the bath so that you could have this discussion with Kweothe. He said something about going and taking up the massage services. It's unclear if when exactly he'll be getting out of there. You can wait for him if you'd like and sort of ponder in the bath, or you could get out, maybe have a look around for him, see what you can find.
Okay, in that case, Percival suddenly breaches the water and he's up, and it's like he's just suddenly active, and he gets out of the bath, and he puts his very tiny towel on again, and he walks into the changing rooms, quickly just kind of dries himself, gets on his stuff. He straps on his leather armor, makes sure he's got everything, and he goes out to where the main entrance is, where the guy is probably,
Yep,
give me some money.
There is the receptionist there, standing next to the large oyster shell or rather clam shell, that is used for collections. Yes. And as you actually come out, he looks around and he sees you, and he's like, oh, and he reaches down behind the little podium he's got, and he pulls out this little scroll, and he says, "Mr. Silverlight, yes?"
Yes, that would be me. Is it an autograph that you need? I don't have much time.
Not an autograph, sir, but this is from one Volothamp Gadam. He wanted us to give this to you if you were leaving the bathhouse, and he hands you this scroll.
Ah, yes, thank you. Yes, so I take it and I hand the man a silver piece.
Okay,
say, for you, my good man.
Places his hands together and sort of gives you a little bow. It's like, thank you very much, sir. The bathhouse appreciates your generosity, and he deposits it in the clamshell next to him.
Okay, and so Percival takes a step just over to where he's not going to be in the way, and where he can just look at the scroll in private.
As you open up the scroll,
it explodes.
You see Volo. Well, you assume that it is Volo's sort of quite loopy writing, and it says there, Master Silverlight, my apologies if you are heading out sooner than expected. After that, frankly, upsetting session with Kweothe, I've decided to take up the massage session with the bathhouse. If you have other business, feel free to go about your day. Do not feel the need to wait for me. I shall perhaps require some time with the masseuses. However, regarding my earlier offer of dinner with Ifan, I shall have messages sent to the Giggling Squid as soon as I know an answer from Ifan. If you are welcome to join me, I will let you know when and where to find me. Yours sincerely, Volo, your #1 fan.
Oh, yes. Okay, and he tightens up the scroll and slides it into one of his pouches, and kind of pokes his head out of the doorway and just, is it raining, that kind of thing. And then very, very quickly tucks his head down, and like if he had a collar, he'd push it up. Yeah, he'd pull it up around his neck, and he would head off into the city.
Okay. Where exactly are you heading at the minute, or are you just sort of letting your feet take you wherever they will?
Temple of Severus.
And you're heading to the Temple of Severus. Okay. Yes. All right, then. That's going to take you a little while. So while you're heading and making your way up to the Temple of Severus, we shall cut back now to the group at the Dino Dens. We left our 3 intrepid investigators in and around the stabling area for the big carnivores of the training grounds. Raana, as a spider, was waiting inside the pen for Bone Cruncher, sort of sat up on the wall waiting for the dinosaur to come back. Silaqui had decided to enter the stables and was standing in front of the main door to Bone Cruncher's pen. And Zibby outside had been not exactly accosted, but had been slightly reprimanded by Otagu, one of the handlers of Bone Cruncher, being told that Bone Cruncher was in fact being brought back into the pen after his training. And Zibby had managed to call out in a way that both Raana and Silaqui would have heard that Bone Cruncher was on his way back to the stables. So outside, first we'll start with Zibby. You just called out, said this, and Otagu's sort of looking at you like, yes, that's what I said. Please move out of the way. And Otago makes a move as if to go into the stable. Is there anything in particular you're going to do, or are you just going to move out of the way?
If he's going into the stable, he must have a safe place to go and stand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make to follow Otago.
As you make to go and follow him, Otago looks at you and says, no, it's quite all right. If you take a step, perhaps across the street there, that'll be safe. I just need to go open the door, make sure that he has a route to follow.
So I will continue speaking in my Zibby's outdoor voice. All right, I'll go and stand over there then. It should be a sight to see you. I know I saw him running around earlier, but it should be a sight to see him just doing stuff.
Okie dokie.
I'll just be over there then.
Okay. Silaqui, inside, you hear this going on. What's your reaction to this?
Shit. What
do I do?
So that first scene from 4 Weddings and a Funeral.
That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was
Fuckity fuck. So she quickly says
this
to
show
Raana,
is not for children.
Hang on, how many episodes have we done and we've only just said that?
So Silaqui says,
It's true.
Raana, I might have fucked it. Good luck. And you just hear her still going, bollocks. She quickly grabs out of her sketchbook the picture she started drawing at the Dino Dens, just holds it in her hand, and then suddenly comes running back round the corner, like out of the stables. I found it, Zibby, I found it. Can you believe that wind? I can't believe that blew it right out my hand and went this far. Can you believe? Hello.
As you are moving to step out, you almost run into Otago, who's sort of like been talking to Zibby and then turns hearing your calls, and you nearly bump into him. Otago is taken aback, but he sees the picture. He's a little bit confused, and he just says, "Were you in that? Oh god, that could have been dangerous. Please, Bone Cruncher is on his way, madam. Please, can you
I'm so sorry.
And he looks to you, Zibby, and says, "Can you escort her out of harm's way, please?"
I'm not sure I can escort her anywhere, but I make sure she doesn't go back in there.
It's also worth mentioning these pens are very strong, but there are a lot of carnivores in here, madam. It's not a wise idea to be close to these guys.
So she's vegetarian.
That's not. I have a gate to open, and Otago just in a bit of a fluster turns and just heads into the stable. Raana, is there anything in particular you're doing at this point? Or you just sort of kind of sit and wait?
Raana was sort of up on the wall by the feeding hatch. So is the feeding hatch open or shut?
It is currently shut. So again, just to reiterate it for. So the pen is sort of made of quite thick timber logs. It has a bed of what looks like sort of jungle ferns and leaves in one corner that is presumably some sort of nesting area. It has a trough, which has a sort of water outlet that allows somebody to pour water in from outside the pen, and the main door of it has got this kind of like a cat flap kind of thing, but across the door, this little flap that looks like it can be pushed open from the outside so that food can be shoved underneath. Because you're a spider, you could just be sat on the door, like looking down on the flap, or you could be on one of the other walls.
Okay, so the construction of the building is sturdy but quite rough. You know, like there's little gaps and things between. Okay, so I'm a small spider. Like I'm not like a big massive spider. I'm like a huntsman spider. Yeah. So I can squeeze in. Can I squeeze between sort of the slats to get back to the outside of the building?
Not through the slats to get outside, but the roof is open, so it'd be easy enough to sort of climb up and out if you wanted to. Okay,
in which case, I will spin some web over the hatch, the inside of the hatch, and then I will spin some web behind me, and I will, leaving a trail of web behind me, I will make my way up towards the roof, leaving some web behind me.
Okay, so just to be clear, so the web you're leaving beside the hatch. So is that kind of like, are you trying to catch food as it comes in?
No, I'm just posting it into Discord now.
Oh, okay.
I have web sense. That means whilst in contact with a web, I can know the exact location of any other creature in contact. I'm assuming I can sense movement on the web. So if I want to know when Bone Crunch is being fed, I can sit outside the building out of sight. And then if my web rustles, I know that someone's opened the hatch. And then I can maybe scuttle in and grab a bit of food. As a little spider.
Very clever.
Okay, yeah, no, I see what you're doing.
He's using something called web sense for anybody listening, rather than seeing.
This is a feature of the spider form. Okay, what I'll have you do is, because this is kind of like, it's quite a quick time sort of thing. You're kind of having to set it up quite quickly as you know Bone Cruncher's coming. I'd like you, please, to make a. What's going to be? I think a dexterity check of some kind.
Okie dokie, dexterity.
Yeah, dexterity, and you can add your proficiency because spiders are proficient in making webs.
Okay, so I get plus 4, so that is dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, yeah. You quickly create this web across the hatchway opening, and you get it set up and get over the top. All right, then. While you're doing that, outside, Silaqui and Zibby, you make your way over to one side, and you can see there's quite impressive display here. What you actually see is Patience essentially leading Bone Cruncher, who has got this he's got this new muzzle on his face that is clearly there to try and prevent him from, trying to bite anything. And Patience is half pulling with a bridle attachment that she's got, this sort of lead pulling him along, but also has this sort of large warm looking piece of meat that she's sort of dangling, so it's a little bit of both steering and enticing him forward, and she's keeping her eyes on him. And as you watch Otago ducks inside, and from where you're standing you can still see he opens up the pen, and Raana, you've just set up this web. Unfortunately for you, as Otago opens this door, it pushes the web and unfortunately destroys the web you've just placed, because the door actually opens inwards rather than outwards. You watch Otago and Patience both pull and entice Bone Cruncher round into the shed. However, Silaqui and Zibby, you are slightly distracted by a figure that comes up to you, this Cholton woman with narrow features that you recognise as Eliza. She comes up to you two and just sort of looks at you and just says, "So, what were you two doing in the dinosaur shed then?"
Oh, sorry. I was drawing some of the dinosaurs. I'm an artist, you see, and I was just sketching some of the dinosaurs earlier on, and I was just trying to finish one of my drawings. And suddenly, this mad, he was proper mad. It was like a gust of wind out of nowhere.
Right,
and
proper
it blew,
mad.
I don't know what that sound was, but anyway, it blew the picture right off my book, right out of my hands, and you know, sometimes it looks funny when somebody, if their hat blows off and they go to pick it up and then the wind blows again and then they chase it. That happened, but the wind was a bit like a cyclone, so it was going all over the place.
While you're going through this spiel, Eliza just sort of turns deadpan to look at you, Zibby, and then back again, and just says, and it didn't occur to you to look up while you were chasing this bit of paper to see where you were being led to? I don't know why she's got such a deep voice all of a sudden.
Well, obviously, at the time, I know, but in hindsight, yes, obviously. But at the time, I was just a bit annoyed and miffed that I'd been spending some time on this picture, and the wind kept blowing it away. And before I knew it, I was like, oh, and I noticed none of the doors were open, so I thought it would be safe for 2 seconds to quickly grab the picture and leave again.
Zibby turns to Eliza and says, in her defence, if she looked up, she wouldn't see where it was blowing.
Okie dokie.
That's quite right, Zibby, yes.
Silaqui, can you roll me a deception with advantage because Zibby is helping you?
Try. Ooh, right, next one. 14.
14. Eliza sort of... she has a bit of her eyes narrow slightly as she's looking at you. And looks between the two of you and just says, what were you taking a drawing of exactly?
Oh, I've been drawing the dinosaurs, but with the training. I sketched lots of things, and I was sketching one of the dinosaurs over there, and I pointed to where I had been previously sort of stood just up there when I was sketching one of them.
Okay. Was the drawing at all, Silaqui? Was it of Eliza and Bone Cruncher, or was it of somebody else entirely?
I'm trying to remember because it was when Raana was going to... Literally, I'd only just started it, really. But Raana was going to start walking around the back to change.
Yeah, it wasn't with Bone Cruncher.
No, okay. And I just started drawing, and then I heard scream and everyone running.
Okay, so it's literally...
Like, oh, shit!
Yeah, so it's literally just the beginnings of a sketch almost. It's not even like a completed sketch, really. It's just kind of... Yeah, okay. All right.
I got the basic framework of the sort of the angles, you know, like the circles and the crisscrosses through it, just to get it set up. It's like, right, bollocks.
You need to be careful. You know, these are dangerous animals, and you know, if one of them did get loose, if you ended up in the shed, that would not be a fun day for you. I can tell you that.
I got that impression from Otago. I learned my lesson. I'm sorry about that. Are you looking forward to the race tomorrow?
Of course I'm looking forward to the race. What rider wouldn't?
Well, I would hope everybody would. It's the first race we've ever seen. We're quite new to the area, you see, and it'd be the first time we've seen this. We're quite excited, aren't we, Zibby?
I've not seen one before, so it should be quite a good crack.
You're not from here, are you? Of course, you said you were newcomers to the city. Well, it should be quite a sight. You will be seeing the best of the best, and here she just sort of like dusts her nails almost on her outfit. Racing and competing and winning glory. The most exhilarating sport that there is in the world.
That sounds amazing. I have heard that you are a very talented rider.
From who?
From all sorts of people. I've heard that you're usually one of the favourites and things. And we actually have not me, Zibby. He actually has a young axbeat that we were looking to get trained, you see. And because we heard you were such a good rider, we wanted to see if we could get Zibby's axbeat trained by the same people.
Otago and Patience are, I'm afraid, indisposed to training axbeaks, I'm afraid. But Ifan has many trainers throughout the Dino Dens. If you wish for your axbeak to be trained as, I presume, a mount, and she's sort of asking both of you, sort of looking to you, Zibby, but it is to sort of both of you.
Well, I am experienced,
I can ride. I just haven't ridden an Axbeak before, and I haven't ridden a dinosaur before.
Of course. Axbeaks are very peculiar steeds, and it's much like Velociraptors in some way. If you're riding one of them, it's actually not too dissimilar, though more feathers, of course.
Yes.
I wouldn't mind being able to have a chicken to ride, actually.
What age is Polly?
She's only a wee lass at the moment. She's about yay high.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say at the same time. She's this old and puts her hand up to the height.
You'll want to make sure she gets through to some handlers soon then. If you leave them too long, they become too old and start to get to that point where they can't really be trained anymore.
Well, that's useful to know.
Well, somebody had mentioned something similar, so it's something that, we're going to have a look at quite soon, I think.
Of course. If you want my advice, you might seek out, and she sort of points you in the direction of some trainers that will be able to actually help train up Polly. Their name is Bob, and you can essentially, if you want to have Polly trained up, you can send her off to the Dino Dens for, I think, how much was it? It was
50 gold, I think.
50 gold, yes. And if you leave her there for, I believe it was 2 months, I think I put down. Yeah, 2 months. Then she will sort of like, over that time, they will start doing the training for you. So that's a way you can sort of...
That's useful. So that way we can go away and come back and have a trained fledgling. Well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, eventually. It will take time because obviously she both needs to grow and learn. But if you don't have the downtime to be training her yourself, you can have her trained at the Dino Dens for 50 gold pieces. After that, Eliza then says, "So, your very first time in the city. Tell me, are there any other sights or aspects of the city that appeal to you?"
I quite like the baths, actually. They're quite fun.
Oh, of course. Have you been to the Enchanted Dinosaur?
I was there only yesterday. It seems like weeks ago, but it was only yesterday.
They have the best drinks. Have you so you have been there. Have you tried the
what you mean, the drow poison one?
That's the one, yes. I forget what that
one.
cocktail was, but yes, that has got such a kick. If you want a good, quick way to get drunk, you go for that one.
I think the barman called it something like Lolflager.
Something like that. Lolflager? Yes, I believe that is correct. That is one of my one of my favourite haunts, to be honest.
It's a bit stronger than Goldschlager.
Oh, just a tad, just a smidge.
Yeah.
It really hits your tonsils.
Oh, yeah.
While you guys are having this conversation with Eliza, back in the Dino Den, so Raana, you've stepped outside of the stable for the time being, haven't you?
Well, I sort of scuttled up towards the ceiling, but if my web has broken...
So it's unfortunate because, yeah, you made up this web, and unfortunately as the door opened, it did just sort of like snag and pull away this web, meaning that once Bone Cruncher is in and the door is closed again, you will need to sort of go set that back up again if you still want to have that alarm system. Bone Cruncher, you see him sort of come in, he's led in by Patience, and she sort of throws the meat in and he goes after the meat. And as he goes past, you see her do this odd little sort of slight hand, this quick movement that just undoes the muzzle on him as he goes past her. And she swings the door shut behind him as he's eating. And now you're looking down on this enclosed animal, and after a few moments of eating, he looks around and is starting to. You can see he sort of starts pacing around, looking at all the different walls, looking about. Not sure what he's looking for. You could roll a nature check if you'd like to try and work out what he's looking for.
I would love to roll a nature check.
Unfortunately, I've mislaid my dice are in my other trousers, so I can't.
As hilariously, Raana, as a druid, has a -1 to his nature rolls.
I think I know
whereas
quite
the
a few.
two people that just left the stables are both +3 for nature.
Yeah. You see, so yeah, I'll get an 8.
Actually, no, I'm not +1.
You get an 8. Okay.
+3 for animal handling, though.
It's not immediately obvious. He kind of, as he's pacing around looking at the walls, he nudges against one or two every once in a while, and it's not until he actually sort of rams against the actual door to his cell that you sort of realize that what he's doing is actually he's looking for a way out. He's looking around, he's testing the walls, sort of, you can see where he can, he sort of scratches at or tries to bite at some of the timbers. But after a few rounds of the pen and a few frustrated roars, which are met by the other carnivores that are in this shed, he eventually sort of makes his way over to the jungle leaves and curls up on it and seems to sort of, if not necessarily asleep, he certainly is sort of resting there upon them. What would you like to do now, Raana?
Okay, I'm up by the eaves, aren't I? I'm sort of out of his reach, and I'm super small. I'm like a little diddy-widdy spider.
You say diddy-widdy, the huntsmen aren't that small. They're small compared to a giant spider, but they're not. If I saw one,
I mean, there are different kinds of huntsmen. I mean, the big one has a leg span.
Nope.
Has a leg span of about a foot, which is a lot. Like if you lifted up a toilet seat and one of those was, just looking at you, you would. Yeah, that would be a problem, I think, for most people.
Find somewhere else to toilet. Yes.
Yeah, I think you find somewhere else to live. I think you'd just be like, we'll just
burn it.
You have that house. That is yours. Yeah. Bye. Yeah.
So I think Raana will just nestle into a little nook up in the shadows by the roof and wait.
Okay. So you sit on up there. You wait. You're watching. Question for you: does Wild Shape have any sort of timer on it?
Yes, I can maintain this shape for 2 hours on this charge.
Okay, fair enough. You sit back there and you sort of settle into a little nook in the angle between one wall and another. Mm-hmm. And you sit sort of watching, and the time passes, and you can sort of tell that this dinosaur is quite bored. He's just resting there. Every once in a while, he sort of shifts slightly in his sleep, but otherwise, nothing much else happens.
Has he had a nap? Has he fallen down and had a sleep?
Roll me a perception.
Okay, I can do that. 16.
16.
No, 17.
17.
We've all got really quite good perception, but so much of the other things we're all shit at. Like no one's good at certain things. Yeah.
He seems to have gone off to sleep. His breathing has certainly slowed down, and it doesn't look like from where you're hiding, it doesn't look like his eyes are open at all.
Okay, so he was fed a piece of meat. That's the thing. Did he eat all of the meat? Are there any scraps of meat left that I can see?
There's not really anything else left, to be honest. He's sort of eaten it in one go. There may be some pieces stuck between his teeth. But there don't appear to be any chunks sat around.
Okay.
How about dinosaur poo?
No, there isn't any dinosaur poo around. I mean, you can smell some dinosaur poo, but in this particular pen, there is no dinosaur poo.
Not yet.
So the handler had the meat on her, didn't she?
She did, yes.
Sit on a stick or something.
I'm debating whether or not Raana can pickpocket meat from a dinosaur's mouth.
What's your sleight of hand?
What was your nature roll?
He's got -1 for nature.
Oh, it was 8, wasn't it? Yeah.
So,
yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah, I'm not telling you any more information. That's up for you to work out. If you wanna give that a go.
I mean, we passed the perception, so he's clearly asleep. But a spider doesn't have any hands, so I can't even get stuff out of its teeth. I think.
What about one of those ant things that can carry things 4 times the size of their body on their backs? They've got like little sticky arm things that they can use.
just this image of this ant like leaving open the dinosaur's jaw. I mean, they're strong, but they're not that strong.
It's only lip. It's not a jaw. You've only got to open his lip. And
Still.
I think.
And he might be asleep with his mouth partially open anyway. Do you know?
It's not.
I think Raana will scuttle out of the building.
Yep.
In fact, no. Raana will scuttle back. Raana will dangle a few threads, like in front of the door.
Okay.
So that if anyone comes through, like it will brush the thread. So he'll climb up onto the ceiling, and then he'll just kind of extrude some little streamers of silk down into the room, and then like tie them off on the ceiling.
Okay, so you're just dangling them down from the ceiling, but staying up on the ceiling, yes?
Yeah, just so if anything comes in and opens the door or tries to walk in, it will brush the dangling threads, and then Raana will be able to tell.
All right. Fair enough. So you make up this dangling web sort of detection system, and you sit yourself back down. A little bit of time has passed as you've sort of sat there, watched him go to sleep, and all the rest of it. But you just sort of settle in for the next. You've got another. I'd say you've got by this point another maybe hour and a quarter or so.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Of time, so you can still sort of sit there for a little while waiting to see what happens. Okay. Back with Eliza. Silaqui and Zibby, make me an insight check, please. She's sort of been talking animatedly with you, asking about, what you've been getting up to. In particular, as I say, talking about the enchanted dinosaur. I'd like you to make me some insight rolls, please. One each.
So, dirty 20.
14.
14 and a dirty 20. Okay. So both of you are able to tell that Eliza is feeling very confident about tomorrow's race. Even though she doesn't directly say it, everything about her when she mentions the race tomorrow indicates that she feels very confident in her ability to win it. She's not outright saying, I'm going to win, but her body language and the way she's talking about it is just screaming confidence. Silaqui, you in particular get the feeling this is confidence that is calm out of a sense of relief almost, a sense that, at last, I'm going to win. Things will be right again, almost. Where exactly this stems from, she doesn't seem to mention. And will you guys try to find the source of this confidence at all?
I think so.
Silaqui. Well, actually, Zibby and I were wondering about where to go tonight. We were thought we might make a change from our usual places. Maybe we'll go there tonight. Will we see you there tonight?
Well, of course. At the suggestion of having drinks at the Enchanted Dinosaur, Eliza agrees and says that she would be happy to take you to the Enchanted Dinosaur. She says anything for some fans, which puts you disturbingly in mind of Percy. But she seems genuinely, just happy to chat with people that are interested in her as a racer. And is more than happy to take you over to the Enchanted Dinosaur for drinks and perhaps even dinner if you'd like.
Free dinner, awesome.
I'd be quite flattered. That'd be lovely. I would like to bend your ear a bit more on the riding styles. I've never ridden a dinosaur, and I'd love to know.
It's something you're born with, You have that instinct, and of course, there's that connection with your mount that just it's something that you can't quite put words on. You just have to. You feel it. They say that the dinosaur chooses the rider, and that is in many ways, I think, true from what I've seen.
That's quite profound. I mean, okay, here you go. Here's a weird one for you. What's the craziest thing you've ever ridden, whether it's dinosaur or something else?
Well, to be honest, Bone Cruncher is the strangest, at least certainly the most dangerous that I have ridden. I've ridden an axe beak myself in the past, used it in my youth to start getting my riding stirrups, in fact. I've ridden on Triceratopses, I've ridden on Hadrosauruses, I even had a go on a
Deinonychus.
Deinonychus, yes, a Deinonychus, no, a Deinonychus. Deinonychus? Deinonychus, that's the one. But the Allosaurus, my Bone Cruncher, that was the big one for me. The big, flashy, dangerous ride that...
You a T-Rex?
No, he's not. Big Honker is a T-Rex.
Oh, yeah.
Bone Cruncher is an Allosaurus. Very flashy as Allosaurus, all sort of red and gold with his painting and his natural colorations. Big, flashy kind of creature. But no, he is not a young T-Rex. The only T-Rex that you've seen ridden so far is Big Honker.
Big Honker.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. Okay, cool.
By Tyrant.
So, Triceratops and Ankylosaurus can be in the second four-legged race. They can't be in the Unchained, and so they're going to be in the...
Oh, no, they can be in the Unchained as well.
Can they? Okay.
In the Unchained, anything goes. Any creature you want to ride, anything that you want to do in the race, well, besides magic, of course, you can use to your advantage.
So I couldn't... Saying as me, I couldn't ride Raana as an abomination.
to yourself.
What's this? It's a fucking mixed thing, yeah.
Yeah, no, not quite. Has to be an animal, and specifically a dinosaur of some kind. You enter the race on just a giant gecko.
What's this? What's wrong with it?
Look at him go.
I think that'd be amazing because geckos can run up walls, so you just be like, screw you guys, just go over the rooftops.
Just go vertical. Yeah.
Exactly. And if the gecko can't jump the distance, Silaqui's now got better distance at jumping, so she'll just hold him and take him with her.
After a little while of discussing more, Eliza sort of shifts on her feet a little bit and says to you guys, shall we take this to the enchanted dinosaur then?
Yes, we should. I've got a story and a half for you of something even weirder that I've written. Keep your minds out the gutter.
Zibby sort of whispers out the corner of his mouth, we're going to talk about the merchant princess again.
Shut up, Zibby. I say nothing, and yet you know nothing about
Zibby's
that.
there just like, Wakanga.
I rephrase it. That's exactly what he does.
Okay. As you guys have been taken over to the enchanted dinosaur, we will cut back now to Percival. Percival, as you're making your way through the city, there is a light rain about the air. Nothing as much of a downpour as you've had before. Nothing that you'd put an umbrella up for. But as you make your way through the town, it's nice and bustling. You know, there's a lot of commerce going about these days. You make your way up through the city easily enough. Nothing in particular stands out for you. You see the usual sights that are becoming very familiar. The bazaar is doing a roaring trade by the looks of things as you go past. You also see, as you go past the harbour, you actually see Zindar in the distance checking over a ship that's come in for the day. He's too far away to catch his eye, but it gives you that little lift as you see that, familiar face. As you head up the hill and you reach the Temple of Sevras, Gary is there at the door as usual to welcome you, and he says, Mr. Silverlight, hello. How can I help today?
Hello, Gary. Now, just for my own inability to remember,
yep.
I think. Who was it that we spoke to who was part of the... Was it Barry? Oh, no, Barry's the porter at the Golden Throne.
Yeah.
The guy who was part of the
ritual?
Yes.
The one that told us a few
who...
things, you mean?
Yeah.
He's Steve.
See,
was it
Steve?
Actually Steve?
I think it was Steve.
I've got here, Steve. Not seen red eye things or terraphone.
Right. Okay.
It was another one of those. It was another one of those that I pulled out of my arse. And he was the assistant to Grandfather Zatembe. He was essentially his second in command, for want of a better word. His one of his direct students that essentially seems to have taken over the running of things while Zatembe is unconscious.
Okay. Right.
So yeah. So Gary welcomes you and asks, how can I help?
Oh, Gary, it's lovely to see you again. How's the kids?
Okay, yes.
Now, I was just wondering, how is Grandfather Zatembe? Is he still under? Is he still having 40 winks?
I'm afraid, yes. He is currently under at the moment. Wakanga is actually with him at the moment, looking him over and attempting once more to find the source or a cure for whatever malady afflicts him. But as far as I know, he's had no luck so far. Zatembe has yet to say anything more intelligent to us than just they're out there. And he just seems to mutter that over and over we assume Cholton. Sometimes he speaks in another language. We don't quite recognise which one that is, but that's if somebody does.
So nobody's aware of what language this is that he's.
Well, certainly nobody I've spoken to. Someone, one of perhaps the other of the acolytes, perhaps Steve, perhaps knows.
Good old Steve. Yes,
but I myself, I'm afraid I don't know what he's been saying. It might just be gibberish for all we know.
Fair enough. Would it be possible to have a bit of a chinwag with Steve?
It should be possible. I think he's currently... let me just see here. Hold on. He takes out this sort of scroll, has a look through it, and he's like, yes, he will be...
Rota.
He'll be teaching a lesson at the moment for the next 10 minutes or so, but he should be free after that. If you catch him just as he comes out.
No problem. Well, if it's okay, I may go have a quick... chat with Wakanga regarding Grandfather Zatembe, just see how everything is with that. But would it be possible for you to let Steve know that I am I'm currently available for his pleasure?
He takes a second to process what you just said there, but then just says, "Of course, I will have somebody let him know after his lesson and come find you when he is." Either have him come find you or let you know where you can find him. He may be in his study.
That's delightful. It's always a pleasure. Say hello to the wife and kids for me, and he goes off.
Again, I don't. Okay.
Percival doesn't care. He doesn't know.
I mean, I'd like to. Okay, all right. You bear in mind, Gary is. I haven't really described what age he is, but he is like in his at least early 20s, if not younger.
I assumed he was quite young. I thought he was probably about mid-20s.
Yeah, that's fine. That's good. It's better.
Okie dokie. As you head on through, you make your way to the infirmary, and you see Zitembe is laying out there. There appears to be another student who appears to be suffering from some burns and is perhaps making more of a meal out of his injury than you would expect. Just like, no, it hurts. But you see in one corner there is Zitembe is still lying there not in state, but lying in his unconscious self, only moving slightly. Wakanga is standing there. At the moment, he's just sat pondering, just like looking down at Zitembe and stroking his moustaches.
Moustaches? How many has he got?
Several.
Okay.
15. It's got a lovely collection.
And then under that, more moustaches.
Moustaches all the way down.
It's tattles all the way down.
He's got a false moustache on top of his moustache. Yeah.
Wakanga, I do apologise for disturbing you.
Not at all, Percival, not at all.
How is our dear friend?
Oh, I'd say he's doing well. He's not changed exactly. Still can't find the actual source of the affliction. It's something external. Something that's affecting him, not within his brain, but from somewhere else. I can't pinpoint the source.
Have you considered that perhaps it is the death curse?
He looks at you very seriously and just says, "Of course I've considered it. It's entirely possible this is something to do with the death curse. Percival, could you please roll me a perception check?"
Oh, yeah. Brilliant. My best one. One moment. Or would that be insight or something? I don't know.
No. I'd like you to roll perception, please.
I'm trying to roll, but it's not rolling for me. Why are you not rolling?
Why you no roll?
Why you no roll?
Your perception's that bad that it doesn't even let you get to the dice.
Come on, dice. Do the roll.
It's just there, just like, don't do it, Percival. It won't go well.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. I think I've got to log out and then log back in. Sorry.
Oh, I know.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, fair enough. You'll never find out this odd tidbit that I have for you.
No. Perception. Right.
That's the one.
Deceiving away. That's a natural one.
Oh, God. It's so good.
Oh dear.
God.
Oh dear.
And what's with your modifier? Like it's worth it.
That's a natural one.
Oh, okay.
You notice absolutely diddly
Nothing.
squat. Yeah.
Yes.
You sort of look at this scene and you notice nothing of any interest whatsoever.
So annoying. So annoying.
Oh lordy. Okay, right. What did we say before that? You said you thought it might be the death curse. He said that he has considered it, but he is.
Of course, he's considered it.
If it is something to do with the death curse, I don't even know if I can do anything about it right now. So far, though, he seems to be doing okay. He's not died, at least. That's something.
Indeed. I mean, we did discuss with you the strange vision that we all seem to have, didn't we?
He smiles and says, "Yes, Silaqui was kind enough to fill me in on that."
Yes. Well, it certainly happened straight after that. I suspect that he was struck down by whatever presence it was that seemed to attack us in our vision.
That would seem to be the case. Certainly the obvious solution or cause of this, but exactly the manner in which it attacked him. So far it's still eluding me. Hopefully we can find something soon. It'd be nice to find out if the grandfather knows anything more from his ordeal. Though, and he looks up quickly. It's like, though of course in general his good health is more than enough to be hoping for.
Of course. I mean, we need to get him out of this coma as soon as possible. I was told by young Gary that he's been mumbling some strange words.
Indeed. Old Cholton.
Old Cholton?
Old Cholton, yes. The language of the ancient civilization that ruled this peninsula.
Have you had them translated?
Oh, yes. It's the same thing he speaks in Cholton and Common. They're still there. They're watching. I think he's referring to the eyes Silaqui mentioned. But can't be certain until we can actually ask him in a conscious state.
Yes. It's a tricky issue.
Indeed it is. Is there anything else I can help you with, Percival, at all?
There was perhaps one other thing.
Indeed?
There's nothing particularly definite about this yet, but I may have had a lead with something, and I just wanted to pick your brains, really.
Of course.
Do you know of Fort Belleron?
Fort Belleron? Of course. It's the only other... he sort of pauses here. Civilized, I suppose, locale in Chult at the moment. It's the base of the Flaming Fists.
Yes, well, I mean, what do you know of the Flaming Fists?
A few scant things. I know that they are an order, a mercenary group, much similar in some ways to the Order of the Gauntlet. Not in many ways, but in some ways. They're an organization of mostly well-connected mercenaries that have influences from places like Baldur's Gate, Waterdeep, on the Sword Coast.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I know that their structure all involves, well, various types of flames, to be honest. They have a very strict hierarchy. I am also aware that there is one, Liara Portier is their captain here in Chult. Hard woman, by the sounds of things, but keeps a tight order to her group. Certainly they have made much better progress in exploring the land of Chult than the Order of the Gauntlet have. But they've no interest in the undead or the eradication thereof. Their only interest is in scouring ruins for profit, I imagine.
I see. So they seem to be literally mercenary.
Quite so. Quite so. Since they've arrived, all they've done is plunder and search the city of Mesro.
I see.
That they've found anything in particular, the entire place was lost during the spell plague, as far as we're aware.
The spell plague?
You don't know of the spell plague?
What in my tone gave the impression I didn't know.
Sorry.
Obviously, I know of the spell plague.
This is a part where we have to sort of break slightly, because I realise I've mentioned something here that is canon within the general D&D world.
Oh, okay.
Which was this big event where essentially magic stopped working for a bit. And there were a number of... to say catastrophic would be something of an understatement. Events that actually ended up changing parts of the world and how they looked.
Fine, yep.
And it was this sort of like... It manifested in different ways. Some ways it was this, massive, cataclysmic kind of destruction. Think kind of like Atlantis.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And for Mesro, this is one of the things that happened, is that during the spell plague, the city was lost. How exactly isn't known. Just one day it was there, one day it wasn't.
Sure.
And but however, ruins remain. So it's kind of like, when I say it wasn't there, it was as in the place was destroyed, not that it just vanished.
So, right, okay. So sort of like the Incan civilization and stuff like that.
Yeah, kind of like that. And I realise, I think I haven't really mentioned it before because I didn't really want to get too in-depth with the canon lore of it. But yeah, this is something that Percival would be aware of. Yeah, so we can retcon and say that, yeah, you were aware that was a thing.
Oh, yes, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the spell plague. I knew all about that.
I don't call it the spell plague. I call it the spell blip.
If you want to learn more about the spell plague, you can find out everything you need from the D&D wiki.
Other plagues are available.
Plagues are available, yes. I haven't really mentioned it beforehand, but a few things that have changed and been altered here in Chult are as a result of the spell plague, and that's
all good.
So,
yes.
As a result of this well-known event that we all are aware of.
Shocking time for all, I imagine.
Of course.
So, you wouldn't necessarily have any contacts there or anything, would you? I mean, other than Liara.
Liara isn't even really a contact as such. I know of her, but I don't know her well. And I'd say I know people in various places, Wakanga says, with a very sly sort of touch of the nose with his finger. But not necessarily many people. Why do you ask?
Well, I have a suspicion we may be heading north at some point, and I just wanted to cover all bases, you know?
Well, if you need a guide of some sort, if you want, I can certainly pull some strings. If I remember correctly, I think Xanthi has a son over at Fort Velarond. If you wanted, I could have a speak with her.
May I ask what the guide's name is?
Well, I believe he does work as a guide occasionally, but he's predominantly with the Flaming Fist. Shago is his name.
I know it.
I see.
I know it.
So he's Xanthi's son, is that right?
That is correct, yes. Yeah. They, keep in touch every once in a while. I have a sneaking suspicion Xanthi wanted to know more about the Flaming Fist's operations and sending him over there. But from what I've heard from Xanthi, he's rather taken with their cause, I think.
No, really?
Of course.
Out to make a few coin, eh?
Aren't we all? If you wanted, I could put you in contact. I could see what I could do at the very least. I may not be able to necessarily get Xanthi to help you exactly, but I can certainly get a message to Shago if you wanted a guide to Fort Velarond.
That may be useful. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Yes, probably best thing to do at the moment is to if you happen to get in contact with this Shago, was it?
Shago, yes.
Yes. If you happen to get in contact with them, just you know where to find me. Just at the Giggling Squid, or maybe I could pop by, see you again.
Oh,
could chat over drinks.
I would certainly love drinks, but as a merchant prince, it is generally unadvisable for me to get drunk in the merchant ward, just in case, you understand. If you wish to have drinks together, however, I can more than do for hosting yourself, and of course, if Silaqui or any of your party wish to join you, they'd be more than welcome. Make me another perception check, please, Percival.
16 this time. Yeah, I noticed shit like that. Not the important stuff.
You notice, as Wakanga says Silaqui's name, he blushes ever so slightly, and you notice because as he sort of blushes, a slightly paler mark on his neck, which looks suspiciously like a scratch, it shows up.
Oh, that looks like a nasty scratch you have there, Wakanga. How did that happen?
What? I'm sure I have no idea what you mean, Percival.
No. I cut myself shaving quite a bit, you know. It's terrible. Great with a rapier, terrible with a razor.
Indeed. And sometimes, well, you find yourself cut on something slightly sharper than you were expecting.
Preach, brother.
Wakanga chuckles and puts one arm up and just shakes it, just like, you know what I mean.
You get me, brother?
Yo, homie.
I say, do you feel me?
Okay, home slice.
It is at this point
Do you feel me, brethren? Sorry.
is at this point another acolyte of Severus comes into the infirmary and says, "Excuse me, Mr. Percival?
Yes.
Steve, the head acolyte, would be willing to meet you just now. He's up in his office."
Oh, lovely. Probably wants an autograph. Well, Wakanga, I'll be saying goodbye to you for the moment. I'm sure that we shall meet again very soon.
Goodbye for the present, Percival. And
Indeed.
should you ever want to come and have a drink with me, you need only call at my villa.
That's no problem. We don't even have to drink. I've got plenty of cocaine. See you.
Man after my own heart.
Wakanga just flashes a tiny mirror at him.